Next up is the response from the United Nations. UN chief calls for a humanitarian ceasefire and hostages release in Gaza.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres on Sunday called for immediate release of hostages in Gaza and a humanitarian ceasefire.
And I will continue to insist on the immediate and unconditional release of all the hostages in Gaza. And I repeat my utter condemnation of the appalling attacks perpetrated by Hamas. There is no justification ever for the killing, injuring, and abduction of civilians. The situation in Gaza is growing more desperate by the hour. I regret that instead of a critically needed humanitarian pause supported by the international community, Israel has intensified its military operations. The number of civilians who have been killed and injured is totally unacceptable.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres also calls that all parties must respect their obligations under international humanitarian law. He added the laws of war establish clear rules to protect human life and respect humanitarian concerns.
All parties must respect their obligations under international humanitarian law. That law emerged from the tragedy and awful experiences of war. I've always been consistent in my call for strict compliance of the well-established principles and rule of international humanitarian law. The protection of civilians is paramount. The laws of war establish clear rules to protect human life and respect humanitarian concerns. Those laws cannot be contorted for the sake of expedience.
Medical authorities in the Gaza Strip, which has a population of 2.3 million people, said on Sunday 8,005 people, including 3,324 minors, had been killed.